Hello, we are back. Billy, we're back. Hello. Benny, you want to come say hi? Come here, Bennett. Come here, come say hi. I brought our other puppy, Bennett, in today. He's not a puppy, he's like 12 years old. We adopted him when he was 2. Come here. And say hello to everybody. Oh, he's such a big boy. He's tiny and he just got a haircut. You say hello? And he has a ton of anxiety. He has since we got him. He was really abused when we got him. He was so sick he couldn't walk up our stairs. He was completely covered in sores from ticks. He was really ill, vomiting several times a day when we first got him. And now he's mostly vegan and he's come a long way. Jesus Kate has healed him quite a bit. And hopefully our love has healed him quite a bit. He's also kind of a pain in my butt because I'm such an empath, and so his anxiety, I feel a lot. And so I have to set boundaries with him as well, but we love him, huh? He never wants to stop being petted. Petted? I don't know. I decided to go without makeup today and just be my real, raw self. I am feeling real and raw today, and it's been difficult for me to get back in front of this camera, especially since sharing some of my most intimate struggles. One of those being, what's it called? Dermatillomania. I just recently learned that term, even though I've been struggling with this stupid freaking issue for my whole life. I have not improved much at all, and I'm frustrated with that, and I'm trying to love myself anyway, because we all deserve love. But my back, I don't know if you can see, but I'm really struggling to heal my back, and my fingers are a mess. I don't know if you can see that, but it's not great. And this morning I was meditating in my bedroom and I saw this picture that my grandmother, who's an extremely special part of my life, took when I was a little girl. She was potty training me at the time. I lived with her a couple times. I think I might have lived with her when I was really little, but then when I was like 8 and 9, I lived with her on and off because my parents were going through some pretty severe struggles, and she has always been a really close best friend of mine. And she passed away on January 22nd of 2023. And that was difficult, but I was so grateful that she was able to rest because she had been in a lot of pain and struggling with dementia for a long time. She was always such a support to me, and when I left the Mormon church, that was really difficult for her. She was very worried for my salvation and my children's salvation, and she expressed her disappointment and sadness with my decision many times, and that was really, really difficult for me because to disappoint my grandmother was like the worst thing ever. It was even worse than disappointing my parents. Billy, look at you. Look at your smile. How could we be sad with a little girl like you around? Anyway, I love you too. And I have had one major spiritual experience with her since she passed, and it was absolutely incredible, mind-blowing, life-changing. It was on my son Thomas's birthday, March 7th. Shortly after she passed away, I experienced her essence and her energy, and she brought me into kind of an in-between dimension where we met and I was able to experience the most beautiful, energetic hug and messages from her. It was truly a life-changing experience. Nothing like the experiences I've had with Jesus Kate, totally different. She's a magical, beautiful, youthful, joyful being on the other side. And that was such a comfort to me. Anyway, I was looking at this picture that she took of me when I was a little girl and she was potty training me. And I was proud of my underwear and showing them off. And I have a story to tell about this picture. But first, let's cross off our chart. Bing! Benny, guess what? Billy, guess what? We are on episode 21. So, again, we are a little behind when it comes to making it to 100 before the end of 2024. But I am still totally determined to do it. And I plan on starting to record more episodes as soon as kids are out of school and I can get into more of a schedule. Just so many things going on with the end of the school year for my youngest. And also, I just got to get more brave. After sharing with you these struggles, it has been honestly really difficult for me to get back on here because I thought that sharing those struggles would really help me improve, and it really hasn't, but I'm still very hopeful. And if you have any ideas on how to stop picking at your hands and your fingers and your skin, share away. I am all ears. But okay, story time. So one time, AJ and I were at a hotel and we were on a medicine journey together. It was magical and beautiful. And he pulled up he was just going through pictures, old pictures on his phone, and he found a digital copy of this very picture of me when I was a little girl. And when I had a little spot on my eye. And he pulled this up on his phone. And when I was on the medicine, I became completely overwhelmed with fear and sadness looking at this picture. I wanted nothing to do with this little girl. It was almost like I literally felt like I hated this little girl. I didn't want to look at that picture. I pushed it away. It was just this natural, organic reaction to seeing myself as a little girl. I realized in that moment that I was terrified of this little girl and that I did not like her, that she was annoying and that she was too sensitive, and she represented to me so many terrifying experiences, traumatic experiences. This little girl had already seen a lot, and she was going to see and experience so many more scary and difficult things. And I had a total natural resistance to myself as a little child that I did not realize until this medicine experience. I don't know if you can hear Billy's growls, but I freaking love him. Billy, you're the cutest. Give me a kiss. Mwah. I love you. Thank you. You want to hold hands? You're the sweetest baby. So on that journey, when I realized, do you love me as a little girl? Thank you. When I realized that I had so much resistance to myself as a little child, Jesus Kate told me that I needed to start doing some mirror work. And she explained to me that you like that, you want that right there. I love you. She explained to me that I needed to look at this picture and look in the mirror at the same time. And as I looked at that picture and in the mirror at the same time, I needed to say positive, loving, kind affirmations to myself. I needed to forgive that little girl, forgive myself for not loving that little girl. There were so many complicated and deep emotions attached to me as a little child that I had not confronted and faced fully. And so my best friend, Christopher, he gifted me this gorgeous Mexican mirror. It has Mexican tiles all over it. And I have that in my meditation space in my bedroom near my altar. Can you lay down? You're a little bit extra. Lay down. You sweetheart. Lay. Hey, lay. Thank you. So I put, your nose got my nose. I put this picture on the corner, in the corner of my mirror. And I put my meditation seat, this exact seat, in front of that mirror. And I sat directly in front of that mirror with that little picture, this little picture of me as a girl, a small girl. And the first time I sat in front of that mirror with that picture, I wept. And I literally felt like I wanted to express anger toward her, even though she had done nothing wrong. It was so interesting, but I just allowed whatever needed to come up. And I just cried and I apologized to her. And I told her that she was worthy of love and that she deserves safety. She deserves nurturing. She deserves warmth and safety and comfort. And I worked with that picture in that mirror, looking at myself and telling myself that I love myself, that I deserve good things, that I am good enough exactly as I am, that I approve of myself. I told grown me and little girl me all of these things day in and day out for I don't even know how long. This picture still sits in that same mirror that I was looking at today. And that mirror work absolutely improved the way I felt about myself now immensely. It helped me so much. And so mirror work is something that now I teach everybody. Just one second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I forgot to put my phone on do not disturb, so I just wanted to do that. Hopefully this is the same angle we were at, huh, baby girl? You're the sweetest. Anyway, so mirror work is something Jesus Kate taught me. It's also something I learned in the book You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay, which is such an important book. I'm not sure if I have it in here, but it's such an important book that has helped me immensely to heal myself. She talks in that book about how when we are little children, well, especially when we're very first born, the baby loves every part of themselves. They absolutely are enamored by their fingers. And she says even in the book that they even like their own feces. They have no problem with literally any part of their body or their being. And then as we get older and the world programs us and tells us what is right and what is wrong and what is ugly and what is beautiful and what is worthy and what is unworthy, we start to chip away at ourselves and start to feel unworthy in the world and start to hate different parts of ourselves. And then when a child goes through some extreme levels of trauma, which I would say I did, they don't want to revisit that version of themselves because there's so much terror and fear there. So fast forward to another time. I'm so bad with dates, but I then experienced ayahuasca, the beautiful grandmother of all plant medicines. If you are not familiar with ayahuasca, it is an extremely powerful gift from this earth. It's when you receive the medicine of ayahuasca, it is like you are literally communing with the consciousness of the earth, this maternal, bold, strong presence that guides and directs you and gives you so much love, but also direction. It's very individual. It's a very individual experience for everyone who receives the medicine, but it is so powerful no matter who you are, and life-changing. Yeah, Bennett, get it. And I sat with ayahuasca, I think it was September 17th of 2021, I think is when I received ayahuasca. It was amazing. What a cool experience. I was terrified, so terrified to go. I went to this temple out in the middle of nowhere. My wrist the night before I left swelled up to look like it had like a baseball inside of it. And it was in so much pain, this big bulge on my left wrist. I went to the doctor. They gave me a brace. They told me to ice it. There was nothing wrong with it other than they said just like swelling. And I don't know if they called it carpal tunnel. I don't even know. But I knew in my being that it was fear manifesting. I was terrified. I remember the night before waking up at 4 a.m. or something to drive out to this temple. That night before, just weeping in my husband's arms, just shaking, literally convulsing in fear. But I knew that my soul needed to experience this medicine. And my God, I'm so grateful that I was brave enough to go. And when I was on that medicine the very first night, I found myself suddenly in a space that I had found myself many times as a young girl. My mother was lying on the floor of this home in Kaysville, Utah, crying just uncontrollably. And I was just a little girl. And I remember tickling her back and rubbing her feet as she cried, and just feeling completely desperate to make her feel better. I felt so much sadness with her sadness, and I couldn't understand it, why she was so sad. And I just felt desperate to make my mom feel better. And so on this medicine journey on ayahuasca, I found myself sitting at my mother's feet, feeling desperate to help my mommy. And the older version of me, the now version of me, tapped the little girl me on the shoulder and asked her if she would come outside with me and have a conversation. So she did. She looked up at me, and it was very real. It was such a cool experience. And we went outside of the house and we sat on a bench, which I don't think existed in real life. I don't know, but we sat on this bench outside of this old house in Kaysville, Utah. And I told this little girl that I was so sorry for what she was experiencing, that she had a lot more scary experiences to go through, but that ultimately this wild path that she was on, that had a lot of loneliness and difficulty and scary moments, would lead to finding her absolute soulmate, her best friend, that she would have 7 amazing, beautiful children, that she would live a life where she felt safe and loved, that yes, she would have to go through a lot to get there, but that there was so much to look forward to. And this little girl just looked up at me, and she's like, really? It was this beautiful moment. And I told her, I said, you are such a little badass. You're so awesome. Just keep going, be brave. And just had this amazing conversation with myself as this tiny child. And in doing that, I healed. It felt like I healed this whole line of pain in my past, from when I was that age all the way to now, because I knew that it would all be worth it. It would all lead to a glorious time where I got to be with my best friend and soulmate and live this life with amazing co-parents and amazing children and amazing puppies. And I felt like I just literally healed this entire line from the time I was a child to now in such a big way. It was such a powerful experience for me on that medicine. I asked her what she wanted to be when she grew up, and she told me that she wanted to be a mother and a teacher. And I told her that she got to have that dream would come true for her. And I'm so grateful that I am living this life now where I get to teach the things that I have experienced and share the things from my heart. And also that I get to be a mother, which is the greatest gift this universe has ever given me. To have these amazing, amazing souls in my care and to be able to learn from them and grow with them and laugh with them and cry with them. And, you know, I feel like once you heal from the traumatic times of your past, what you have left is wisdom and understanding, and also a deep compassion for those who are also suffering and struggling. And I'm so grateful for every single experience I've ever had. I know I have had a lot of moments of weakness and made a lot of mistakes in my life. And all I can do is learn everything I can from that. Oprah calls the benefit from healing trauma, she calls it post-traumatic stress wisdom. And I am so grateful for my post-traumatic stress wisdom, because there is nothing on this earth that teaches you more than struggle. Jesus Kate says, struggle is the mechanism for growth. And if you think about, you know, the seed sprouting up through the soil, it has to push through so much darkness, and it has to soften and open to be able to blossom and bloom. And it has to go through that resistance. You know, the tree is made stronger from every storm. Its seed is spread through the wind of the storm. The root systems are strengthened through the storm. It is the purpose, in my opinion, one of the most important purposes of why we are here is to go through these struggles, because I truly believe that every bit of wisdom we gain here, every bit of knowledge and growth we receive here, we get to take back with us, and we just continue to expand and grow through exposing ourselves to new levels of darkness and new levels of struggle. And I really have realized in my life that the dark things that I have experienced, even the mistakes that I have made, have been placed in my path to teach and strengthen and fortify me and give me the tools to help other people overcome very similar struggles. So that was a really cool experience where I learned how to heal myself. But I would highly recommend that if you struggle with loving yourself, go back to yourself as a child. Find a picture of when you were a small child and put that picture in the corner of a mirror, and force yourself to sit with yourself as a grown person and yourself as a child, and merge those two together and heal yourself with love. You deserve all the love. And so I hope that's helpful to someone out there. I also wanted to share today, I haven't done a star of the day in a long time. And I don't know if this is a star of the day, but for me, it is. I received the most beautiful gift from a dear, dear friend. Her name is Beth. I have not seen Beth since I lived in Japan when I was 12 years old, but so very gratefully, we have continued our friendship since that time. I remember when I lived in Japan, she went to Thailand, and I at the time was obsessed with Winnie the Pooh, and she brought me back this beautiful yellow Winnie the Pooh mirror. And when you opened it, it was like a compact. When you opened it, it had a little comb in it too. And I kept that mirror forever. I hope I still have it in my old boxes of things. It was so special to me. And it meant the world to me that she brought me back a gift from Thailand. And I opened my mailbox yesterday, and there was a random package from my dear friend Beth. She had just made, well, quite a little while ago, she went on a trip to Thailand with her family. And she once again thought of me when she was there, and it meant the world to me. She bought me these pants that I absolutely freaking love. They're so beautiful and they're so comfortable. Thank you so much, Beth. I love you so much. But even more than that, she wrote me this beautiful 3-page letter that I will not share with you, but that absolutely blew my mind and touched my heart in such a deep way. I was totally just weeping reading it. And she folded it the way that we used to fold notes as kids, like this. Do you remember? Do you remember how it tucks in and you pull it out? Brought back all the memories. And this beautiful postcard of a banyan tree with this statue of a head in it that she told me the story of how cool. I want to go visit this tree someday. How special and cool is that? Beth has shown me the love that two women can share in friendship together. I have had a real struggle trusting women in my life to be friends to me. I have always been friends with mostly men, and there are very few women in my life. Iggy and Haley and Beth and my sister Bryn and Andrea and my stepmother Jody are some of the women in my life who have really shown me unconditional love. And Beth is one of those people who I can just be so real with, and she can be real with me. And we have had some of the most powerful Reiki sessions I've ever experienced. One of them was with her, and it was one of the most life-changing Reiki experiences for me. Helped me really understand the beauty and power of this work, and that distance does not make any kind of a difference, that Reiki love and Reiki energy can be shared even when we're miles and miles apart. But I am so grateful for the women in my life who have taught me how to trust and open myself to women again. I know I shared a while back that this year, February 8th through the 11th, I was able to help out with a women's retreat, which was such an honor to be asked to go and experience this women's retreat and to share my gifts. And I was terrified. I was terrified to go, especially because I was in charge of the meals too. And that scared me. Just breakfast, and literally it was like so intimidating to me. Like, what if I mess it up? What if it's not nice? But they were so sweet and so grateful and so gracious to me. Anyway, that was another experience that really just taught me, we sat in these ceremonial circles and we wept and we danced and we wailed and we, roared like dragons, and we let it all out in a totally safe space. It was such a powerful, life-changing experience for me. And all of these women in my life have taught me to open and to share myself with other women, that we don't have to hate each other. We don't have to compare ourselves to one another. We can literally open and support one another. And the divine feminine is so powerful. When women come together, I can't think of anything more powerful. We are literally divine creators. And I'm so thankful. So that was something that I was extremely grateful to receive. She watches this show, and her love and support and encouragement has made a huge difference for me, because this is one of the most vulnerable things I've ever done, to share myself openly like this. And it's been a struggle. And so the people in my life who really encourage me and support me and give me positive feedback mean the world. Another gift that Beth gave me that I wanted to show is this absolutely gorgeous pendulum. Of course, it's purple right now. For Thomas. Hi, Thomas. Beth made this by hand herself, and it is one of the most beautiful gifts I ever have received. And with her handwriting and paint, she told me exactly what was on the pendulum. And this top part is like a mood ring, it changes. And it is often purple, which is Thomas's favorite color, which just absolutely means the world to me. This pendulum has really been something that I have connected with and been able to receive guidance from. If you're not familiar with pendulums, for me, the pendulum is just like any other tool that we can use spiritually. First, you have to really get in tune with yourself, and then the tool that you're holding can become an extension of your energy and a way to connect with your loved ones on the other side, a way to receive guidance and answers. And so this pendulum has meant the world to me. I don't know if you can see, but let's see if I can point to it. This little box that's hanging on the wall that's painted all these rainbow colors. Am I pointing? Yep. That's what this pendulum came in, and her sweet daughter, Abby, painted that box for me, and I love it so much. The colors are so beautiful. These heartfelt gifts from friends, I can't even tell you how much they mean. I didn't even realize until the last year that gift giving is one of my love languages, because I've never been someone who wants material gifts. You know, I don't want anyone to spend a large amount of money on me. I don't like, just buying things flippantly. But what I've realized is when people go out of their way to give me a gift from their heart, which Beth has done, which my soul sister Iggy has done so many times, I'll just open my mailbox and there is this sweet, precious gift from my friend Iggy. These things mean the world to me, and they do help me feel loved. And I think I had shame around wanting to receive gifts as an act of love. It felt materialistic or worldly, but I've learned that acts of from the heart, gifts from the heart, really are so special to me. Yesterday was AJ's birthday, my husband, and I gave him a gift from my heart. I put on my wedding dress 10 years later. Our 10-year anniversary, wedding anniversary, is coming up next month. So I put on my wedding dress, and my sweet daughter, Anna, took pictures. She has an amazing gift for photography. And I'm so grateful that she took the time to take pictures and edit them for me. She's the sweetest. And I put them in an album. So my old pictures from our wedding day right next to the new pictures of me in the wedding dress now. And I even had some where I was like raising my arms and showing my hairy armpits. And, I didn't have any tattoos except for the one on my back matching with AJ when we got married. And I've grown a lot and I've changed a lot. And it felt weird putting back on that dress, but it was something that I felt like AJ might appreciate as an act of love. I wanted to do something from the heart, and it seemed to mean a lot to him. It was a really fun thing to do with my baby girl. And she also, Anna, brought over the sweetest gift of this collage of pictures of AJ with her and the rest of our family, and wrote him the nicest card. And those gifts just mean the world. Gifts from the heart. So thank you to everyone in my life who shows me love, who thinks of me and sends me little things. Thank you so much. I hope very much that my friendship to you is as valuable as your friendship is to me. I also wanted to share, a couple of other plant medicines. I know I mentioned ayahuasca. But I wanted to also mention 3 plant medicines today that are legal in this country that you can access from your home. Actually, one of them you have to go to a practitioner, but it is legal. You know, a lot of the medicines that are from our dear earth are made to be illegal, and that is so frustrating to me because the pharmaceutical industry is out here creating medicines with all kinds of insane side effects, and these gifts from Mother Earth have, you know, very few side effects, if any at all. You cannot overdose on most of them, if not all of them. They're safe and they are beautiful and they help you really heal instead of just putting a Band-Aid over your depression or a Band-Aid over your addiction or a Band-Aid over your anxiety. They actually go to the root of where your issues come from, and they really help you figure things out. One of those medicines is called Cambo. Let me see. I feel like I printed some stuff off about Cambo. Yes. So Cambo is basically the poison from a giant monkey tree frog, I think is what it's called. Cambo is a medicine that has been used in the Amazon for thousands of years, and the frog is not hurt by getting the secretion off its back that we put onto our skin when we use Cambo. It's scraped off the back and then the frog is let go free. And this medicine is a powerful, powerful earth medicine that is meant to be done in ceremony, in a sacred space with reverence. And I have received Cambo 2 different times now. And the practitioner I go to is in Scottsdale, Arizona. His name is Eduardo. And if you ever want to receive this medicine, I will put the link to his website. I hope I remember on the description of this show, because he is absolutely wonderful. The first time I received Cambo, these are my scars from my burns. I don't know if you can see them. And the second time I received it on my ankle. Let me see if I can show you. It's kind of hard to show you, but there's 3 dots. 1, 2, 3. 3 dots. They're called points, 3 points. And basically, I'm going to read a little bit from Eduardo's website about what Cambo is. It says, the frog's secretion does not contain psychoactive substances. It contains peptides. Participating in a session or ceremony can boost the immune system, eliminate toxins, and cleanse the body. It also clears negative energies and blockages. It brings a renewed vitality to the body, mind, and spirit. Let me tell you, Cambo truly does all of those things. First of all, just on the physical level, I'm pretty sure that each human has like an average of 2 pounds of parasites in their blood or something crazy like that. We all have a bunch of parasites living in our systems. Those parasites feed on sugar. They feed on junk food. They literally pass gas in our systems. They eliminate waste in our systems. They slow us down. They make us feel heavy and yucky. And so when you receive Cambo, it's a purgative and you purge. And the session lasts about 20 to 30 minutes. And during that time, you are purging, sometimes from both ends. And it is very difficult to get through. It is not for the faint of heart. The first time I received it, I was so scared. The second time I received it, I asked my 2 sisters, Andrea and Bryn, to come with me. And that was a big deal to me that they came with me and sat with me in that ceremony, because they are both LDS and or Mormon, and they have, you know, their own beliefs. But to support each other in our beliefs has been such a beautiful and wonderful and healing experience for me, to have them open their hearts to my spiritual practice meant the world to me. They sat and they literally held space for me as I was vomiting into a bucket in this ceremony. And they even, received some medicine called sananga, which are eye drops, which was so brave of them and so cool of them to do. It meant the world to me. And I'll talk about sananga in a minute. It's such a powerful and beautiful medicine as well, often used in conjunction with other plant medicines like ayahuasca and kambo in preparation to receive those medicines. The sananga is given. Anyway, to experience this medicine, it clears so much out of your system. After I receive kambo, my skin is clearer. I feel lighter in my being. My cravings for junk food are all but gone. It's incredible to experience this medicine and to just clear so much out of your system, both physically and spiritually. And so that is one medicine. One of the other medicines I wanted to talk about is sananga. So sananga is another sacred plant medicine that is legal in this country. It has been used by indigenous tribes in the Amazon for thousands of years. Before they go hunting, they'll use this, and it decalcifies the pineal gland. It opens your third eye. It helps you be more in tune with the earth, more in tune with yourself. Let me see. I wrote some things down. It is a powerful tool for spiritual growth, healing, and personal transformation. The medicine is typically administered as eye drops, which is the way that I have received it, in the middle of both ayahuasca ceremonies, because we did it 2 nights in a row at this temple in 2021. They give you sananga, and what an experience. It stings like a motherfucker when you receive it, and you have to blink your eyes, and then you feel just this overwhelming sense of peace and gratitude and love and just a connection with your divine being. It's really cool medicine to receive, and you can literally buy this. I don't recommend just doing it yourself. I recommend going to somebody who is experienced with this beautiful medicine and receiving sananga. I love to administer this to clients. It's a powerful, beautiful way for people to start to open their third eye and to receive the gifts of the universe in a more courageous, open, authentic way. It is something that I have learned to love. Another medicine that is totally legal in this country, that is straight from our beautiful Mother Earth, is hape. And hape, I have 2 different hapes here. And these are prepared in prayer and ceremony by indigenous peoples. This is made from sacred tobacco. Tobacco is, in our country has been completely destroyed, and the sacredness has been taken from the plant and it's been industrialized. But tobacco is actually a very sacred and beautiful plant medicine when used in ceremony and when used with the intention of healing and growing closer to yourself and closer to the earth and closer to God and the universe. Let's see what I wrote down about hape. Hape is blown into the nostrils through a little tool called a CreaTyf. You can self-administer it with a CreaTyf like this, or when you're in ceremony, there's a longer tube because it's 2 people receiving it. But basically, you put a little bit of hape on your hand, ding, ding, ding. Then you scrape it into the CreaTyf, and then you put it in your nostril, and you blow like that, and you receive the medicine. And it is a powerful, powerful medicine. I do not do this often. I do love to receive hape on ceremony like ayahuasca or kambo, because it prepares you to receive these medicines from Mother Earth. It connects you immediately to earth frequencies and to your body and to your higher consciousness. It's just this it's very difficult to describe, but it is a powerful, powerful medicine. Let me see. The effects of Hoppe can vary depending on the individual and the dosage, but they usually include a sense of grounding, yes, clarity, and heightened awareness. Many people feel a solid connection to the earth and their inner wisdom. Hoppe is also known to purify and cleanse properties and can be used to clear the sinuses and lungs. The strongest feeling comes on about 3 minutes after application. So you receive the medicine and then you sit in meditation and you just feel the medicine start to work in you and bring you just closer to the earth, grounded in your body. It's a really powerful experience. It can also help with lucid dreaming, if that's something that you're into, with astral travel. It can really open up your third eye and connect you to higher dimensions. So that is also another medicine that is legal and safe. And I will put links to where you can buy these things, although I do not recommend just buying these medicines and administering them to yourself. I recommend going to an experienced practitioner who can create a ceremony and teach you how to properly utilize these beautiful, powerful gifts from our Mother Earth. I wanted to share all of those things. What else did I want to share today? I wrote down, because I've been thinking yesterday. Okay, fine. I'll talk about it. Yesterday, my husband's birthday, we had to buy a car. Not my favorite thing to do. I hope that someday buying a car is super exciting, but at this point, it was not our favorite thing. But we felt guided through the whole process. And Jesus, Kate, and all my helpers were with me as we were going into this experience of buying a car. For some reason, walking into a dealership, well, for a lot of reasons, walking into a car dealership just immediately pisses me off. I freaking hate the vibes. I hate the salesman energy. I feel like I'm being manipulated. I feel like I'm being lied to. I'm automatically triggered and tend to get grumpy with AJ. It's just like a triggering experience buying a car. But yesterday I felt an awareness around all of that before walking into the dealership. On the way there, I was seeing 333, 444, 555, 111, and I just felt like, oh, okay, we can get through this. It doesn't have to be a traumatic experience, especially because it's my husband's birthday. We just got to get through this. And it ended up being an actually really amazing experience. The salesman, we walked into a dealership and we just started seeing like signs that these people were Mormon everywhere. And it was really funny and cool. They had a huge poster of what looked like the sacred grove. And if you're familiar with LDS stories, it's Joseph Smith says that he had a profound vision in a grove of trees, and it's called the sacred grove. And I do believe that Joseph Smith probably did have a profound and beautiful experience in that grove of trees. Anyway, big picture of that. And then there was, a Mormon publication posted outside of the offices. And there were just a lot of signs that were saying like, oh, I think these people are Mormon running this. So the guy that ended up helping us, he is LDS, and I did tell him that we used to be LDS, and he asked me, he said, okay, well, since you mentioned it, you have to tell me your story. And so I told him my story and even got a little emotional in a car dealership, telling him how terrifying it was to leave the LDS church, but how I really did a lot of authentic and deep research, reading the journals of the girls, these young girls that were to marry both Brigham Young and Joseph Smith. The journals are available online. And also that I read a very thorough history of the Mormon church that was actually written by a Mormon that was purchased at the Mormon bookstore. But even in this Mormon literature, I was just feeling this profound feeling of, oh my goodness, I think it's time for us to leave this church. And that was a really scary thing for me. Anyway, I shared that story with him. And then he shared with me and AJ that he was actually going through a spiritual awakening of his own. And he even used the word awakening, which I'm not sure a lot of LDS people use. I don't know. I haven't been in the LDS church for a while, but he was just a really nice guy. And he started sharing with us all the things that he was learning. And it was just a really cool experience. We ended up getting a great deal on a car. And I I was just grateful for the entire experience. The whole thing felt guided, and it was a completely different experience than I've ever had in buying a car. But he was asking, or we ended up talking about UFOs, and he asked me to tell him my story, or maybe I just told it unsolicited. I don't know, probably. But I told him about the experience that I had, my very first experience with a UFO, and it made me think maybe I should share that on the show. So here it is. When I was 27 years old, I was sleeping in my house in Alpine, Utah with my then husband, Jake, and I was pregnant with my baby girl, Anna, and I was lying next to Jake. He had earplugs in, and this, mind you, was before there were cameras on phones. So there was, I didn't have a way to take a picture of this, and I don't know if it would have let me take a picture of it anyway. But basically, I'm sleeping in my bed in the middle of the night. It's probably around 2 or 3 in the morning. I don't know. I did write it in my journal. I should have brought my journal out. But lying in bed, and I start hearing this sound, and at first it's just kind of part of my sleep because it's very faint and it's very distant, and it's like this sound like that. But it was very faint, and I just was still kind of in my dream space sleeping. But that sound got louder and louder and louder and louder. And eventually I found myself like getting really freaking annoyed. And I was just like, what the heck is that sound? No part of me even believed in UFOs at the time. I was very much Mormon and had different spiritual beliefs, different spiritual practices. There was no part of me that was researching UFOs or aliens. It just wasn't an interest of mine at all. But the sound continued to get louder and louder until I absolutely could not ignore it. It was so loud. Wow, Benny, like that. Wow. Anyway, it was really loud. And so eventually I stood up, and the window to our bedroom faced our backyard, and the window was on my side of the bed. So I decided to get up, and we had these thick blinds. They were probably like those, thicker, nicer blinds. And I peeked through the blinds, and I swear on everything that is holy, there was a huge, like maybe 50 feet long or 40 feet long, not a perfect sphere, but like an oblong sphere. I don't know what the shape is, but like an oval shaped UFO. It was metal. It was made of like metal plates, slats or something. And there were colored lights like green, red, yellow, whatever. I don't know. The colors are written in my journal too. These flashing, I can't remember if they were flashing, but they were lights around the center of the metal vehicle that was literally hovering maybe 10 feet above the ground, 15 feet tops, but it was like probably closer to 10 feet. Huge freaking metal UFO in my backyard. And I freaked out. it scared the crap out of me. And so I started rubbing my eyes like this, trying to look at him, holding my thing. I'm like, honey, honey, honey. I started screaming for Jake. I just kept saying, honey, honey, wake up. There's a UFO. Honey, wake up. And he's just kind of like out of it with his earplugs in. And I'm like, Jake, honey. And eventually he starts like, what? What's going on? I'm like, there's a UFO in our backyard. And I'm looking at it. And sure enough, yes, Billy. Sure enough, Jake, as he starts to get up and starts to walk over to my side of the room and, you know, where the window is, the UFO starts raising up and starts leaving our yard. We had an Asian pear tree in the back left corner. If you're facing the backyard, the back left corner of our yard, this big, beautiful Asian pear tree that I absolutely loved. And that UFO, as it was leaving, it like brushed the top of the tree. And I have that image just ingrained in my mind, this big, fat, metal UFO flying, whatever it is, brushing the top of that Asian pear tree as it left. And by the time Jake got to the window to look out to see it, I could see it in the distance, but all he could see is stars in the sky because it just looked like a bright star in the sky. That experience totally freaked me out. I literally did not sleep well for months after that. I immediately went and started researching UFOs, Alpine, Utah. There was nothing, there were no reports. There was nothing on the internet that I could find about UFOs in this part of the country on this day. Nothing, no one else had seen it. And I felt like a crazy person. And especially within the community, the religious community that I lived in, I did not tell anybody but my close family members. I remember my sister's husband at the time telling me that I was sleepwalking and that it was just a sleepwalking experience. I had never sleepwalked. I was on 0 medications. I think when people sleepwalk, they don't have a memory of it. It didn't feel like sleepwalking to me. It was a very vivid and real experience that I had just had. And I kind of just stopped telling people about it other than my close family members. I felt like I must just be crazy. But now that I have had a lot of experiences with alien beings, higher dimensional beings, objects in the sky, so many cool experiences, I have no doubt that that was a real experience of mine. And I still don't know how that ship relates to anything else that I've experienced, or if it does. But that was my very first experience with a UFO. And it was very real and very crazy. And it is what it is. I can't deny it. So someday maybe I'll read my journal entry about that time in my life. That pregnancy with Anna was so cool because before I got pregnant with her, I saw her in a vision and I knew it was time to get pregnant, which really scared me because I had multiple sclerosis. I was told not to have any more children. I had already had a second child after they told me not to. And my second child, Thomas, was only 9 months old. And I was sitting in the Mormon temple and I had a vision and I saw my daughter and I knew that it was time to get pregnant again. And so immediately after having that vision, even though I was scared and I cried a lot, I knew that Anna was ready to come, that she would be a girl, that she would have light brown hair and blue eyes, which was so exciting. I had 2 redheads at the time, and I saw this brown-haired, blue-eyed little girl, and I was so excited to have a daughter, even though I was completely terrified. I was terrified to be outnumbered with 3 kids. I was terrified of having a girl because I did not know how to relate to girls in any way. But Anna has been the most incredible daughter I could ever hope for in my entire life. She is a literal angel. She was an angel from the time she arrived. She was sleeping through the night on night 1 at home and has never, ever just given me trouble or problems. She's literally been an angel to me, and she's one of my closest friends, and she's the sweetest, most emotionally intelligent, powerful, loving, beautiful, amazing girl. And I'm so grateful for her. And, but yeah, that happened when I was pregnant with her. So cool. So grateful. Anyway, there's some of my experiences. I will continue to work on trying not to pick at my skin. My back is once again full of sores that I can't seem to leave alone. And my hands absolutely look like shit. But I'm determined. I don't know if I'm going to have to put on fake nails again, because that's the one thing that I figured out that really helps, but I don't like wearing them. So if you have any other ideas, please reach out. I would love to hear them. And if you are struggling with anything in your life, just know that you are not alone, that we are here to be human, that we cannot be perfect in our humanness, but that your heart is perfect, that your soul is perfect. Jesus Kate has literally shown me my heart chakra. It was the most magical, beautiful experience. And it's like we just are closed off to the greatness of our divine being, because that's part of the purpose why we're here. We're supposed to forget. We're supposed to uncover that and remember who we are through this process. And if you think about our lives, we go through the same cycles again and again. It's like we're living Groundhog's Day, or we're like playing the same level of the video game over and over and over again. And we're meant to improve each time. And each time, because we are made of divine consciousness, that consciousness gets to take the intelligence we get from every single level, every single experience that we have, everything we overcome, everything we master and learn from, we get to expand and take with that with us. And so if you are struggling with anything in your life, give yourself love. Try to do some mirror work and say, you are a badass. You deserve love. You are so freaking awesome. And even if you don't feel it, say it anyway, because it's true. And your brain will start to program yourself to feel differently, to think differently, to process things differently, with a sense of self-love. And everything is better when we love ourselves. Literally loving ourselves is the answer to everything. I'm so grateful that these issues are like the final issues that I need to heal in myself. I have literally healed so much through this work. Multiple sclerosis, which doesn't have a cure. Insomnia that I struggled with for 20 plus years. You know, I am completely sleeping through the night. I'm having vivid, amazing dreams every night. It's so cool. I'm so grateful to have overcome that and mastered that. I've overcome my weight issues, binge eating disorder. I have healed so many things, anxiety, depression. And so I need to just focus on what I have accomplished and be grateful for what I have accomplished, and to know that this is a journey and that I'm not supposed to be 100% healed overnight, but that I have a lot of lessons to learn on the path toward healing. And I hope that you can give yourself the same grace too. All right, doggies, say good night, say good morning, say good day, say goodbye. Thank you so much for being here. I love you all, and I'm here if you need me. Namaste.